Good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m. Thanks for clicking on our Daybreak Plus streaming newscast on WGRZ+. And I'm joined for the first time on this streaming show with Dan Russell. How's it going, Dan?
It's going great, and thanks for having me. You know, it's pretty awesome filling in here at 9 a.m. on the streaming channel.
It's good having you here. We just have a lot of fun, and we talk about news, we talk about sports, and of course, we talk about weather, and we are finally going to feel a little bit of spring this week. We're all just desperate for it. This time last year, we were playing golf March 4th, March 5th. It was warm.
We had a crazy warm stretch last year at this time.
So finally, we are leading up to St. Patrick's Day weekend. We are going to finally feel like spring.
And there's going to be some golfers out there, I would have to imagine. We just had to get rid of some of the snow, right?
Right. Speaking of snow, you were explaining these numbers to me, right?
Yeah, so through yesterday, we have quite the deficit when it comes to the snow here in Buffalo. Again, this is just at the airport where we take our official observations. Through yesterday, 76.5 inches so far this season. We should be in the mid-80s.
Wow.
So we're running 7.5 inches below average when it comes to our snow on the season.
It just doesn't feel that way because we had snow on the ground for so much of, end of January and into February. We didn't see green grass. It felt like we always had snow. But I guess it was just the little amounts.
Yeah, as we were saying kind of last week, we just were nickeled and dimed throughout this winter is pretty much the snowfall. We never saw the big one in Buffalo, and that's why this number is as low as it has been. Again, we've just been nickeled and dimed up to this point, and I know you're going to love hearing this, Melissa. We will not be adding to this number, at least in the near future.
Okay. Yeah, I asked you at the end of Daybreak, I said, are we going to see more snow? You're like, yes, we will get snow, but nothing huge anytime soon.
Yeah, no big winter weather anytime, and not only this week, but even as we look at next week, we really don't see any big pattern shift. A lot of warmth, which of course with the warmth, that means no wintry precipitation. Towards the end of the month, though, there might be a little shift, at least to some chillier weather where maybe could see some snowflakes.
Well, this break will do a lot to help, I think, our mental health here in Buffalo of the seasonal depression. So, all right, you take it away with what we've got, and then we will head and talk about sports.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Yeah, so again, this week, we're not going to be adding to this number, certainly not today. Even though we had a little bit of a chillier start, we started out with temperature in the 30s. That's nothing terribly cold for this time of year. We should be starting out in the 20s. But look at the clear sky. Again, wall-to-wall sunshine. I know last week, couple of days, we actually saw a high temperature up around 60 degrees, but we were also tracking quite a bit of rain last week. That's not the case this week. Most of this week is going to feature dry conditions. In fact, as we expand out, you can see this nice chunk of real estate with clear skies here across the central Great Lakes. That's our weather today, and really over the next couple of days. There's a weak little front sitting just north of the border. That's going to settle south tomorrow afternoon. It is a very much moisture-starved front, so outside of some clouds, the biggest thing we're going to notice out of it is it's going to knock temperatures down at least a little bit here as we head to the middle of the week. We won't be talking, say, well into the 50s, but still at even a little bit above average for the middle of the week. This afternoon, again, we got 50s that are going to be building in, lots of sunshine, generally light winds, so not even much of an added chill for you. And then tonight, clear to partly cloudy. Temperatures not as chilly as last night. Again, we started out this morning in the 30s. We start out tomorrow morning. This is at 7:30 with temperatures low, if not mid 40s. We'll get temperatures right back into the 50s by midday, but notice into the afternoon, we get those clouds kind of passing on through. That's that cold front. As we finish up the day, temperatures by tomorrow evening will begin to drop into the 40s, and some of that cool air will deepen. So that come Wednesday, we do start out with temperatures in the 20s. We'll still have temperatures get into the 40s with maybe a couple of rain showers trying to sneak in there across the southern tier late Wednesday and into Wednesday night. But really, that's as far as the extent of precipitation chances for much of this week. So again, today, sunny and unseasonably mild. Low to mid 50s this afternoon. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, not too chilly, upper 30s and low 40s. And then tomorrow, outside of some clouds mixing in for the afternoon, just a little bit more of a breeze. Temperatures up pretty similar. Highs tomorrow, low to mid 50s. And as we take a look at your 7-day forecast, again, we take a little bit of a step back here Wednesday into Thursday with temperatures here in the 40s. Just a chance for a couple of spotty showers here. But then as we finish up the week and head to the weekend, we got temperatures well into the 60s. A beautiful day here on Friday, and that warmth likely. I know it's a big double parade weekend, whether it's the old neighborhood parade here on Saturday. That's going to be a beauty. We're going to have temperatures in the 60s. However, as we get closer to that downtown parade here on Sunday, Melissa, I think we are going to be tracking some rain, and temperatures will be cooling off. So it's going to be all about the timing of the rain as we get into this upcoming weekend. But I think even though it is looking wet, the fact that we have temperatures as warm as they're going to be, I think most of us will take it.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to bring the umbrella, obviously, or the ponchos if you're out watching the parade. And for those folks who are jumping from bar to bar on Chippewa or Allen Street, they're going to have to be running from door to door to avoid the rain. But I don't think it's going to dampen any spirits at all.
No, it won't be. And boy, that Saturday weather for the old neighborhood parade, I think it's looking phenomenal there. We're talking, we'll still have sunshine likely. We should be mainly dry. So that's something we'll continue to keep everybody posted on here as we go through the week.
All of us think back to the parade of, I don't know,
2012.
2012. Okay.
I'll never forget those St. Patrick's Day parades.
Shorts, t-shirt, tank tops.
Right?
It was in the 70s and sunny, and I don't think we'll ever, it's going to be a while before we see that again. But hey, we will take 50s or 60s. That's going to be very,
Looking
very nice.
back at that month of March back in 2012, we had a week there where temperatures were in the 70s. We even had 80s that March. That March was insanely warm.
Yeah.
We're not going to be quite there, but I think most of us will take the 60s.
Yeah, we will certainly take it. All right, Dan, thanks. Okay, now let's get to some Bills news. Lots happening over the weekend. Josh Allen just keeps winning. Take a look at this generational run that he's on right now. He's engaged to actress Haley Steinfeld. He won his first MVP this year. And he just got announced that he's going into the University of Wyoming Hall of Fame. He'll be inducted. And now he's got a new record-setting contract. Listen to this. According to Adam Schefter, it is a 6-year contract worth $330 million if it all plays out. $250 million is guaranteed to hit his bank account. This is the most guaranteed money of any deal for any player in NFL history. Allen, of course, is a 3-time Pro Bowl selection and a 2-time All-Pro pick. But yeah, $250 million guaranteed. So QB now stands for $250 million, Josh Allen.
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
Yep, that's some big-time money right there.
Yeah, and you know what? He wasn't really paid. We were talking earlier about he was the 11th
his previous
highest
contract,
paid, QB. And obviously he's played more than what he was worth.
The MVP this year. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens as we go through the next few years. Who will be the next big contract that'll be given out. But yeah, no, very happy for Josh Allen. And yeah, we want him here forever, right?
And for Bills fans and for kids who get to grow up watching their, this role model and star in their life. I was talking with Elliot on the phone today, and we were talking about the contract. And he's like, he's going to be there throughout my entire high school career. And he brought that up, and I was like, oh my gosh, he is, Elliot's Jim Kelly to me. And it's really exciting to see someone that will play such a role in the lives of Western New Yorkers.
I was on vacation and down in Mexico, and people were actually bringing up Josh Allen when they found out we're from Buffalo. And, it wasn't just about his play on the field. A lot of the conversation, it was about how awesome he is off the field and the things he does here in the community. And that's such a rarity, especially when you have this level of financial freedom to have that kind of humbleness. That's why we all love him.
Yeah, he could have an ego, and he certainly doesn't. He really, this has become kind of America's team, the Bills, and Josh Allen at the helm of it.
The leader of it.
For sure. Now, another player who got paid is defensive end Greg Rousseau. He signed a 4-year contract extension that's worth up to $80 million. And here's what he had to say right after signing his deal.
Really just a blessing from God, and couldn't be any happier just to be back here in Buffalo. I mean, it's been a special place ever since they picked me in 2021. Just the trust that he's put in me, and also just trust me with this second contract and rewarding me with this. I mean, it just means the world to me, and I'm just ready to go out there and just keep on putting it all on the line for my teammates and just try to win as many games as possible and be the best player I could be and get to that next level.
Why did you choose to sign it now as opposed to playing it out and see what you could do on the open market?
Just because my heart's been here, you know what I'm saying, since 2021, and I didn't really want to go anywhere else. So I mean, we have a lot of great guys on our team, our defense, our D-line, we're real tight. I'm just excited to get back to dudes like Ed, DQ, AJ. I mean, it's a blessing to be around guys like that. It's not like that everywhere, so I was just ready to get back.
Free agency starts on Wednesday, and the Bills are being very proactive with all of this right now.
Well, I love, and they always say, build your own players and then re-sign them. Well, they're certainly doing that. I know there's a couple other players that there still some questions whether it's James Cook or Christian Benford. I know those are a couple of names where might see an extension for one of those two guys in a not too far distant future.
Yeah, and releasing players too. Yeah, Von Miller was released over the weekend. Not really a surprise to a lot of people. Needed that cap space, but there is some talk that he could come back. He took a pay cut before. He might be willing to do it again.
Yeah.
But he, is obviously, you all know, at the end of his career, and he, because of injuries, really didn't produce much for the Bills recently. But he started off with a bang, and maybe that old Von could come back. And but we shall see. Watching it very closely, and there'll be lots of developments as again free agency starts Wednesday. But another NFL player who's making some buzz is the Browns defensive end Myles Garrett. He re-signed with the team after making a trade request that a lot of people were talking about. Garrett's deal now is worth $40 million a year and includes $123 million in guaranteed money. It is the biggest deal for a non-quarterback in the NFL, in NFL history, actually. And while Browns fans are happy, some on social media are simply calling out Garrett for this. Because again, just last month, he made a trade request and said, quote, "The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It's always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl." But last year the Browns finished 3-14, and they also have a lot of money tied into quarterback Deshaun Watson, and he's barely played for them. Cleveland only has about $12 million left in cap space for 2025. So I'd love your thoughts on this, Dan.
Yep, that was definitely a financial grab right there. I mean, I was hoping for him. He was one of the guys that was on my wish list. I mean, there's a lot of Bills Mafia because we would love to see that pass rush, but ultimately he's going to stay in Cleveland. But after requesting that trade and then signing this massive contract, there's some questions there. I would totally be one of those fans questioning the sincerity of wanting to truly be in Cleveland.
Right. So Cleveland fans are glad that he is there because he can play, but the feeling behind it is just kind of overall ickiness.
Yeah. We talk about Josh Allen being humble, right?
Yeah.
And this might be a little bit towards the other end of the spectrum on that one.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot more to talk about here on Daybreak Plus. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. Yes. Welcome back, everybody. Crews in Buffalo are taking new measures when it comes to potholes. Acting Mayor Chris Scanlon says that 36 trucks and crews in total will be deployed every weekend this month. The new initiative hopes to help fast-track pothole repairs across the city. City's also investing $17 million to address road repaving, and you can expect to see those changes as early as this year.
Everyone knows the freeze-thaw cycle this winter has had a significant impact on City of Buffalo roads. And the first thing you have to do in order to address a problem is admit that there's a problem.
Well, we've gotten calls all across town. We know there's some key roads that have a lot of attention needs. I'll name a couple. Right in front of Bennett High School, we've gotten a lot of calls on that. A little further down by Fillmore and Main Street. So there's a couple of those that we're going to do a weekend. Cold patch will come and cut some of those with a better repair once the weather breaks and the asphalt plants open. As the mayor said, we've got a lot of paving to do. So we're anxious for those plants to open. We'll get some better fixes in place for some of those rougher spots and then really work on the paving program throughout the year.
And that was DPW Commissioner Nate Martin with the city. If you have a pothole you want to report in the city, call 311. Countywide, if you want to report a pothole, the county says to actually reach out to them on social media. But it's the freeze and the thaw, as we all know here in Western New York, that makes the potholes really, really bad. There was just a lot of freeze for a long, long time, but now we are starting to see that thaw.
Yeah, the road conditions brutal. There's actually portions of my drive I've had to change because the roads, it's like as if I'm going off-roading.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
Yeah, and it's costly. I mean, it isn't just annoying to drive over potholes. It costs drivers thousands of dollars when they damage their vehicle because they're hitting these really deep potholes. And so it's frustrating, and it's good that they can address it. And now the weather will be nice for crews to be out there with the cold patch or with the more significant changes to the roads and the repaving.
Including today, I'm going to imagine there's going to be a lot of crews out there that are definitely going to be Hard at work, so let's get right to it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about temperatures, actually, because once again, we have unseasonably mild conditions. We started out this morning with temperatures in the 30s. Many spots still kind of hovering in the 30s. A few spots, Dunkirk, Angola, into the 40s. But as we get into this afternoon, temperatures, again, are going to end up about 10 to 15 degrees above where we should be. We're still at a point where the average high is in the upper 30s to near 40. Well, here we are this afternoon. It's 53 in Buffalo, 54 in East Aurora, 55 in Springville. Look at Gowanda there, making a run at 60. Even as soon as this afternoon, the winds are going to be light. The sunshine will be out. Certainly get outside and enjoy it. Tonight we'll have clear to partly cloudy skies. Temperatures not quite as chilly compared to what we saw last night. Again, last night we dipped down into the 30s. Tomorrow morning, though, most spots will be in the 40s to kick off today. And with a little bit of a head start, we'll easily get back into the 50s. Here we are by midday around 55 in Buffalo, 56 in Gowanda, 51 in Dunkirk. The difference is what happens during the second half of the day tomorrow. We got a little push of some cooler air, and we'll finish up the day with temperatures falling into and down to the 40s. And that will set the stage for a little bit of a chillier day here as we head to the middle of the week. But even there, we're still looking at temperatures at to even a little bit above average. So overall, it is a true bonus spring kind of week here. Temperatures at to even well above average for the majority of this week. We're also looking mainly dry. We had a couple of warm days last week, but we were also tracking quite a bit of rain. We don't really have many rain chances this week. Maybe a couple of spotty showers trying to sneak in late Wednesday through the first half of Thursday. The weekend, that's where we have a little bit more uncertainty. It's still going to be very warm, but we're also going to increase the likelihood for some rain, especially as we get towards Saturday evening and into the first half of Sunday. And of course, we'll be keeping everybody posted on that as we go through the next couple of days as far as those rain chances here. Again, with that being that big double parade weekend, but at least, Melissa, again, we got that warm weather that is certainly going to be in place.
Yeah, I need to make my tea time for Friday already. I think the few courses that are open are going to be packed with golfers. I was at the Dome yesterday, and there were I've never seen so many golfers inside the Dome getting ready to, because they know that the good weather's coming for golf. So it'll be here. But we're joined by Natalie now.
Hi, welcome.
I know, right?
You never get to see each other with your morning shift, and Dan usually on the nights filling in for Patrick right now. But Natalie, you have been kind of doing a deep dive on Women's History Month and really focusing on women-owned businesses. And you brought another one to us this morning on Daybreak.
Yes, ma'am. So I brought a women-owned tattoo parlor to Daybreak this morning, and it's all about this owner. She owned her own tattoo shop, and then she had hopes that she wanted to bring on all women tattoo artists to kind of change the status quo on what it feels like inside a tattoo shop. I know a lot of the times we feel like it's dark and kind of more grungy, which is totally fine if it's people's vibes, but she wanted to make it a little bit more of a spa experience and kind of do stuff differently. So go ahead and take a look. Euphoria on Main Street is not your average tattoo shop.
Hopefully when people come in, they feel safe, they feel warm.
Owner Jessica Miller, or Summer Days to her clients, started Euphoria on her own, but knew quickly she wanted to expand the business.
I started out as a private studio over on Elmwood in Allentown and wanted to grow and form a family of tattoo artists. So in later time expanded over to Main Street, where we now host for several artists, including a piercer.
She added 3 other artists, all women, to her team. Her main goal is to make sure everyone who walks in the door feels comfortable.
I wanted to create a safe space for individuals that, I personally feel needed more of that more peaceful and closer and more friendly environment.
Each of Euphoria's artists specialize in their own type of artwork. Miller says they have any vibe you're looking for.
We got some really cool, creepy, witchy vibes. We got, fairy, magical vibes. We got, new school, trippy vibes, and, anime.
They are also firm in the belief that no matter your skin tone, you should be able to get the tattoo of your dreams.
We've had people come in to say that many other shops may have refused them or told them that they cannot get particular colors in a tattoo.
Her artists are all trained in color theory in order to make any guest's vision a reality.
At the end of the day, everyone should deserve to be given a tattoo. No one should be rejected for a tattoo just because they're of a darker complexion or be told that they can't get something because of their darker complexion.
Miller says they connect with other women-owned businesses in the area as well.
A lot of us connect through different avenues, whether it's being a part of different forums, different groups, different like community activities.
She added that connecting with the community is important to her and her artists.
Like even ladies' night, paint nights and things like that, just to continue to kind of branch out and weave out into the community to let them know like, hey, like we're cool here. We want you guys. We want to connect with you guys as well. And we just kind of try to keep that really close and knit.
Roses and pink and
So fun
florals.
in there. It was very Natalie in there. Like I walked in and I was like, wait, is this a spa? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Natalie loves the pink.
I do.
It's all over your desk, and you looked at my dress this morning, you're like, oh, that looks like something I would wear.
That's beautiful.
But you said that Tuesdays are a really special day for them, right?
So they do Tiny Tuesday, which is essentially like you can go, you pay $80 flat rate, and you can get a 1-inch tattoo of whatever you want. So they have all these cute little designs, or you could like bring something in if you wanted to try out an artist, or if you just wanted to have a little tiny tattoo. I know you mentioned you don't have any. No. I don't have any either.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yes.
Okay. Dan, would you like to share, or are you fine with that?
I think I have two. I got the armband
Okay.
here. I got one on my calf.
Okay.
But,
Dan is cool.
So many people have sleeves now, and I think it looks so cool on other people, but I just kind of think to myself, how am I going to feel about this arm sleeve when I'm 85 years old? That's just, you know, and I'm such an indecisive person also, so I just don't know if there's anything that I could really permanently be okay with.
I have commitment issues. That's why I don't have one. Because like I would get one, and then 2 years later I'd be like, oh.
Yeah,
So-
it is definitely a commitment.
Yeah, and if you look at it every day, which like I feel like you want to be able to see your tattoo, right? So I'm like, I don't know if it's for me, but
You have no regrets, Dan?
No, none.
Okay.
You know what? There's a little bit of those, like once you get one,
yeah.
you kind of want another one, and so I like it to mean something though.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of waiting for that, like that meaning, that moment,
Yeah.
that where I'm be like, that's what I want.
Okay. All right. Well, Natalie, thank you. That was a great story, and congrats to those ladies. The tattoo shop, again, is called
Euphoria.
Euphoria, and it's on Main Street in the Theater District
Yes,
in
ma'am.
downtown Buffalo. Awesome, Natalie. Thank you. All right, now let's talk wings, shall we? We've got some really exciting news for fans of Duff's. Our partners at Buffalo Business First report that Duff's is adding 4 new franchise locations all across the U.S. because we know Buffalo transplants want their Duff's. Duff's is teaming up with Pomegranate Capital Partners to open a spot in the Tampa area in just about 10 weeks. And then locations are also set to open in Sarasota, where there are so many Buffalonians in Sarasota. And then also New York City's Lower East Side. Let those downstaters, those city folk, really understand what good wings are, right? And a separate franchisee is also bringing Duff's to Elizabethtown, Kentucky. And I love that. I mean, a lot of people know Anchor Bar, and not so many people know Duff's. And Western New Yorkers love their Duff's. So
There's a general rule my son and I have that as you get further and further away here from Buffalo, the wings, they get worse and worse.
Yeah.
Well, maybe adding a little Buffalo, if you will,
Right.
to some locations might help out.
you know, and the name is there, but as long as they can also replicate the cooking and the wing itself, it needs to be the size, it needs to be the crispiness and the sauciness. And, you know, of course, Duff's will continue on with their, like, hot is extra hot and that whole thing that they do. But it needs to taste the same, too. So hopefully they can get, like, the Duff's chefs here and teach them elsewhere.
You are 100% accurate, and it is how you cook it. It
Right.
is. You know, you want it crispy, and I can't tell you, you get a wing somewhere else, and they bread it. They bread the wing.
no.
You can't bread your wings.
It's not how it's supposed to be done. We know that. All right. And this morning also, we want to celebrate an incredible weekend for the Variety Club. Our numbers are officially in for this year's Variety Kids Telethon. And over $1 million was raised to help children with medical needs right here in Western New York. So again, we want to thank all of you who helped out and called in and donated, as Two on Your Side is a proud partner of the annual event. The longest running locally produced telethon in the country, and it was a lot of fun. It was very chaotic. If you tuned in, you knew there was a lot going on, but it was entertaining and it was emotional. And again, all of the money from Variety Club stays here in Western New York to go to Oshai Children's Hospital and other children's charities. How was your first experience?
It was my first experience, and to be honest, it was awesome. You know, it was awesome, and raising that money, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was chaos, but it was fun.
Very good. Dan, thanks for joining us here, and thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back here at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.